Hello, it's Burgess Taylor from Journey with Burgess. How are y'all doing? So I did some illustrating, some documenting my day for the holidays. David and I wore matching but not matchy flannel shirts Wednesday and Thursday. We wore red ones, red and black flannels. They didn't exactly match. He got this one from his dad that I did the picture of right here. His dad gave him, and his dad was really excited that he wore it Thursday. We also wore flannels to my mom's because the weather was chilly, and we wanted to be comfortable because we were going to be cooking, and the flannels were easy to take off because we had shirts underneath because, it gets warm in the kitchen. But I never really thought of myself as one of those people who would do matching shirts. We do oftentimes wear the same color, where we sort of match but aren't matchy, and on occasion we have with 2 or 3 shirts that are actual matches, and we will on occasion wear those. But I never would have imagined myself being one of those people. One of my uncles and aunts, they have been doing that for years, and it's so cute. I wanted to chronicle Thanksgiving, but I didn't want to bring everything with me, and I drew the shirt and the other things you're going to see while I was at my in-laws on Thursday. And I only brought the notebooks and the pens. I didn't really bring anything else. I didn't bring a pencil. I didn't bring my watercolors or any of that. I just brought the pen and then 2 notebooks. One is my sketch journal. That's where that flannel shirt's going in, and the other is my actual Omni journal. I wanted to capture those, but in order to draw the banana nut bread, which I made sugar-free banana nut bread Tuesday night so that I could take a loaf to my mom on Wednesday and take a loaf to my mother-in-law on Thursday, because they're both diabetic. And holidays, a lot of the desserts that we eat have sugar, so they can't really eat those. When I did the banana nut bread, I drew it from memory. When I drew the tree, which was at my mom's, Wednesday, I raked part of her yard, and the leaves were everywhere, and they're huge leaves. I brought some back home so that I could take one of the leaves and cut little pieces of it out to make the leaves on that watercolor. I wanted to do that. I think I'm going to do that. And then to take one of those big leaves and put it in one of the big spaces that I left open, and then journal in the other space. But I drew these from memory, all except for the table that you're going to see, where my mother-in-law got flowers from David's oldest sister, her oldest daughter, and they live in Utah, and she had them in the middle of the table as a centerpiece, and these were gorgeous flowers. I mean, gorgeous flowers. And I wanted to do that. So I actually looked at those when I drew those. I had such a good time. I really did have such a good time. The funny thing about drawing from memory is that you can't always trust your memory. My banana nut bread looked pretty good, but it actually looks a little bit better now because I've actually shaded in the right-hand side a little bit more, and now it looks better. But this was when I first was doing this, and you can go back in and touch things up, and you can go back in and lighten it a little, you can darken it a little, and I've done that. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this chat, is that there is this sort of insurgence I wrote a blog post about it, and the blog post goes into a lot more detail about it. There's this insurgence of, hey, be authentic. Hey, be yourself. Hey, do you. To thine own self be true kind of thing. But at the same time, there's this insurgence of people that are making videos. Hey, if you want to grow your YouTube channel, you need to have this background, and you need to have this kind of thumbnail, and you need to have this, and you need to have that. Or if you're posting pictures on Instagram, if you want your account to grow, you need to have this. Your photos need to be curated. You can use Photoshop and fix those errors. Different things like that. And I don't know how to use Photoshop. I do edit my videos, but if I don't edit my videos, then you're going to hear a lot of long pauses and a lot of ums and a lot of so and things like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think it takes away, because as somebody who has ADHD, I have long pauses because I have to get back to the topic I was thinking about if I get distracted by a subject that comes up when I'm chatting, or something like that. So I sometimes ramble, I sometimes kind of go in circles, and I have to, uh, you know, I do have to edit my videos. But well, I guess I shouldn't say I have to. I choose to. If you've looked at some of my really old videos, you know that I'm a lot better at it now, and I'm actually a lot better at going live, but there's still the anxiety that comes with doing a video, especially face to face, when I'm filming, and that's why I have the cup of coffee. I even have a cup of coffee in front of me right now, because if I have that cup of coffee and I look at the webcam, I look at the monitor, I imagine other people sitting there with me having coffee, so that it feels more like a real chat. But when I'm doing art, or when I'm doing videos, in the back of my head is this whole idea of it's not going to be good enough. It's not going to be okay. What if people don't like it? What if it doesn't measure up? All these people have these videos that are professionally edited, or that they're really good at editing, or their photos have been edited and they're really good at that. People who have been practicing and have a better skill set with art than I do, practicing a lot longer. What if mine don't measure up? What if people are like, why in the world is she even putting this up here? But you know, that's the whole thing. That's why I put mine up, because I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional photographer. I'm not a professional videographer. I'm not a professional artist. I do this because I love it, because I enjoy it, because it's fun, because I want to share and inspire and motivate somebody else. Somebody else who's like me, who maybe for 30 years didn't even do art, or for 20 years really wanted to write and kind of put it off because of their responsibilities. I was busy with my kids and busy working, and I didn't have time to really be creative. Now, I did do scrapbooking here and there, and I did write poetry. So I was creative in some ways, and I have always loved to decorate things, DIY projects, but that was the extent of my creativity: poetry and scrapbooking some, and I still did my own thing with scrapbooking, and I did journal and things, but I really wasn't doing art at all for over 30 years. And then I happened to come across a video on YouTube about adding art into your journals, and I talked to my daughter because I'd been adding little scrap pieces of ephemera, everyday ephemera, receipts, things like that, pictures, but not art. My daughter gave me some supplies. She's an artist, and I have been hooked ever since. But the thing about all of this, no matter what creative endeavor it is, it's about progress, not perfection. I can crochet a little. I can only do like a blanket or scarf, anything that's pretty much a straight line. You can forget hats or socks, and I love hats. I love socks. I love them. But I can't make them. Well, I shouldn't say I can't. I've not been able to. And maybe it's because it's not something I have put a lot of effort into, because I'm so busy with other things that's sort of been on the back burner. I love revamping things. I love a good DIY project. And one of the things I've decided to do, David asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I told him I want real wood bookshelves, a real wooden cubby. I looked at IKEA stuff, and the only things that I found that were red were presswood, and I don't like presswood. I have some bookcases that are presswood. They end up being the Leaning Tower of Pisa after a while, and I don't like them. I like real wood. I like sturdy stuff. My craft table is 6.5 feet long by like 3.5 feet deep, and it's sturdy. It takes 3 or 4 grown people to move it, kind of sturdy. And I'm rough on stuff because I actually use all my stuff. I don't, I'm not gentle with it. My craft table is meant to be used. And I like the fact that I don't have to worry about it, you know, ending up the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So what I decided to do, I mean, I could technically get the IKEA stuff and paint it, but I want real wood. So we're going to start hunting Rehabitat. I'm going there tomorrow. We're going to start looking for real wooden bookshelves and cubby things and stuff like that. And I'm going to paint it and I'll revamp it for my room. I'm also getting rid of one of these. I'm also getting rid of the big desk. My daughter wants it, and I'm going to get a smaller desk. I have a antique small desk. It looks more like a vanity at my mom's. I need to bring back, and that'll be my laptop desk. It may end up in the living room though. So anyway, perfection is just, to me, it's like that catch-22. It's almost an oxymoron. It feels like whenever you are striving for it, you are between a rock and a hard place, because you're not hardly ever going to meet the standard that we have in our minds of what is perfect. It has to just be good enough. And good enough is good enough. You know, it's about the progress. And I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds so cliche. But I'm just happy to be creating art again. And the last year or two, on and off, I've had bouts of self-doubt and a lack of confidence. I've tried to mimic or imitate other people's things, and every time I start doing that, it feels because it's not me. It's not my cup of coffee. Now, there are certain things that I see that I'm inspired by, and I do try and I learn, and eventually as I learn it, I end up making it more my own. Now, you'll see things that are in my journal pages that have been inspired by other people that look similar, and that's because I'm trying to hone my skills and figure out a way to make it more my own. I'm not adverse to imitating in order to learn. I'm not adverse to mimicking in order to learn. I am very much, hey, get inspired by somebody and learn. Hone your skills. The more that you practice, the better you get. When I was doing the little thing in the Hobonichi, there's these little starburst kind of candied looking things, and I started to kind of create that, and then I was like, never mind, I'm just going to color in the box, because I need to actually sit down and kind of practice that, and not with the paintbrush, with the actual pencil. I don't do much with pencil, but I do some things when I'm trying to learn something. The more that you practice, the more it becomes a skill, the better you get with the technique of it. And that's all it is. But you have to make things your own, you know? So now, before I go off on a tangent again, one of the things that has really made a difference for me is following people who do their own thing. Following people who will teach you how to do things, but they're not teaching you, hey, you have to do it my way. They're saying, hey, this is something that you can try, this is something you can learn, this is something you can do, if you know. And believe me, if I can do some of this, anybody can do some of this. You don't have to make your pages filled with art if you don't want to. You don't have to put stickers everywhere if you don't want to. You can do whatever it is that you really want to do. One of the great things that I found about Danny Gregory is that he pushes that. Be creative. Learn. Hone your skills. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Ryder Carroll talks about, in his bullet journal method, finding your own way through things, and he gives you different methods of doing things, and then he gives you the core method of what works. The big thing about bullet journaling, along with any kind of planning, is that you review things that are working as well as the things that aren't working, so you can improve upon things. Well, art's the same way. If there's something you're creating and you don't like it or you're not good at it, you can keep at it if it's something you're really interested in. But if it's not something you're really interested in, I don't know that it will grow on you if you're not really interested in it. At least for me, it doesn't. I do The more I try to do things that I love and that are fun for me, the better I get at it, the more I hone those skills and my techniques improve. Whereas the moment that I am really trying to force myself to do something, whether it's something that's a trend or something that I think I ought to do or something that I really want to try, if it's not interesting for me, if it's not fun for me, if I'm trying so hard that it takes the fun out of it, then that's time for me to say, hey, I gotta let this go. If it's not really my cup of coffee, if it doesn't resonate with me, I need to let it go. I have let quite a few things go, including my idea of what my pages should or shouldn't look like, of where I should or shouldn't add art, of what I should or shouldn't be doing when it comes to planning or journaling or art or writing or any of it. I'm following my own inner compass. That's my word for next year. This year was be brave. Next year is inner compass. And if I really want to follow my inner compass, I got to be brave, y'all. This year has been a doozy. It's been filled with the ebbing and flowing of grief and healing. And I'm in a much better place now, but I'm still not quite, grief takes time. I don't think I'm ever, I know for a fact because my daddy died when I was little and I've lost all of my grandparents. So grieving my dad, I know that it's never going to go away. It's just going to get easier to handle. So I feel like I've come a long way though. I've found my way through to my new normal. It feels like I think I've finally gotten the flow and the groove back. And I'm really happy about that. So you're going to get 1 or 2 videos a week, most likely. I'm going to try to revamp the trailer for YouTube for this channel and the other channel. And I'm going to try to get back on a schedule of at least 2 videos a week. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, y'all.